In this lecture, we are going to learn the second topic, steering linkage and steering geometry. The steering geometry terms related to the wheel alignments. So we'll learn one by one. In the steering linkage is divided into two types. First is the steering linkage for rigid axle front suspension. It is generally used in the bus or trucks or heavy vehicle. And the second type is the steering linkage for the independent front suspension, used for the independent suspension vehicle like the cars and jeeps. So we'll see here the difference between these two. You can see this schematic diagram here. First points, which here the steering wheel. Steering wheel is connected to the steering column, and end of the steering column is connected to the steering gear box. Here are the different types of gears used in the steering gear box. This point also we will learn in the different topics steering gear. And the output of the steering box is connected to the drop arm or pitman arm. It is also called the pitman arm, and it is connected with the drag link. And other end of the drag link is connected to the forged stub axle here. This is called the stub axle, where the wheels and tire assembly is mounted. And this both left and right hand stub axle is connected by the track rod or tie rod. This track rod or tie rod has two arms. It's called a track rod arm, are joined to this forward stub axle, and the other side of this track rod arm are connected by the ball joint with this track rod or tie rod. And here you can see the adjuster. This adjuster is provided to position both the wheels in a straight ahead condition. For that, in case of the toe in or toe out, this adjuster is used to position the wheels in a straight position. See here friends, when for example, when wheel takes the rotate at right side, so column rod inside the steering column is rotate, and it also rotate these gears. So the rotation of gear, it convert into to and fro motion of the drop arm or pitman arm. So this to and fro motion transfer into longitudinal motion or transfer motion of the drag link. So it push this is the end of this forward stub axle, and this stub axle is pivoted at these points. Both are pivoted at this point. So it rotate about this, and it convert into the angular motion, and it's turn in this direction. For example, this is stub axle. Once it rotate, if it push this rod here front side, this position will change and it will go to this side. Same, it is connected through this track rod. So this side also the stub axle position changes, and it rotates about this pivot, and it turns to the make the angle with respect to previous position, and it turns to the right side. So what is the difference between the rigid axle front suspension and steering linkage for the independent front suspension? Apart from this, I have missed one point. Here you can see the front axle. This is the rigid axle, okay, connected here to the pivot with the stub axle, and there is also the here shows the spring pad. It is the set of space provided for the leaf springs pad here, so spring can rest over this axle. So effect of the right side is considered to the other side in this first types steering linkage for the rigid axle front suspension. Second point is the steering linkage for the independent or for the independent suspension system. Here the complete track rod is divided into three parts. Okay, it's called the relay rod, and second, these are the tie rods. Okay, it divided into three part here. Here you can see the steering wheel. Later it goes to steering column, same like the steering gear, cross shaft, and drop arm. This drop arm connected by the ball joint to the relay rod, and other end of the relay rod is fixed to the frame here, fixed to the frame, and it's only for the supporting purpose, and it is operated means attached to the idler arm. So only the input of the steerings is given to the other, only one side here. Same here is also only one side of the wheels. Later it is transferred by the steering linkage. Here this relay rod is is moving on only in horizontal position. Its position is restricted. It can only move in this horizontal position. It will not go up and down. So for that purpose, different LHN RS tie rod is provided, so it accommodates the changes of this wheel when it go up and down. This is the top view, so you can understand when it go, this side will come up and it will rotate about these ball joints. In case of the suspension, in case of the suspension, same for here. So in this case, instead of the one part, it is used the three part, and the center part is used in horizontal plane only restricted, and other two LH and RS part is moving upward. This is the basic difference between these steering linkage. At this point, we are going to learn toe in, toe out, setback, and thrust angle. Here you can see the figure. The first figure, it shows here, the figure A shows the toe in and figure B shows the toe out. When you see the top view of the vehicle, generally toe in and toe out is related to the front steering wheel tires. Here the front tire pointing inwards, they said to be toe in. If they are inward position, then it's called the toe in. If this front two tire they said to be the outward, means their end is showing outward side, then it's called the toe out. These both conditions are undesirable because each wheel simultaneously slip over the cross thread, and scrubbing takes place on the tire, means rubbing of the tire is more in that case, and you can see the diagonal pattern on the one side of the tire. Result of the toe in and toe out of wheel during running increases the tire wear. And same the disadvantages with this, the fuel consumption will be more, then driver can feel the harsh steering because of toe in and toe out. So tires should be straight while vehicle is in the running condition, and this is also the one of the important point of the wheel alignment. Next one is the setback. You can see it clearly here. When you compare both front wheel center, so distance between the two front tire placement, distance between the two front tire placement of a wheel compared to the opposite wheel, this is called the setback, and some manufacturer is given this setback allowance up to the 6 mm. So it is allowable by the manufacturer in some vehicle design. Next point is the thrust angle. It actually thrust angle should be 0, but angle made by the thrust line, this angle made by the thrust line with respect to the center of the vehicle, that with respect to the center of the vehicle, if you draw here the longitudinal line of the vehicle, so the angle made by this is called the thrust angle. Thrust angle, if not 0, in that case you can see the dog track or backside inclined or pushing the front side. You can see the vehicle running like the inclined position because of this thrust angle. When all four wheels parallel to each other, when all four wheels are parallel to each other, means zero thrust angle, in that case it is called the tracking. It is called the tracking. In this topic, we are going to learn the camber, KPI and SAI. KPI stand for the kingpin inclination and SAI for the steering axis inclination. Both the terms are same, but because of their geometry or because of their arrangement, it is called as a KPI or SAI. So first we will see the camber. What is meant by camber? It is the angle made by front tire of a vehicle from the imaginary angle made by the front tire of the vehicle from the imaginary vertical plane or line. You can see here the line is going here. So angle formed between these two lines, it's called the camber angle. It is positive when tilt outward. It is positive when tilts outward. Here you can see tilt is outward side. Okay, if it is negative when tilt is inward. For example, this tire position is like this. In that case it is negative. Camber should not exceed generally more than 2 degree. It should not, the standard value, it should not 2 degree. So standard value for this rear will have zero camber, but in case of rear independent suspension, it is designed and mostly kept negative. So what are the effect of this camber? To roll tire properly and uniformly, or so that wear of the tire need a uniformity. For that purpose, this camber angle should maintain properly. The inclined inward or outward or any side of the camber angle, there will be the more wear on one side compared to the other side. Positive camber is useful up to some extent. It helps to pull the wheel straight ahead position after taking the turn. If the camber of one side of the wheel more compared to other side, in that case vehicle also pulls away towards more camber side. The best example is the Indian vehicle right hand drive cars. In Indian vehicle we use the right hand drive vehicle, and that these vehicles run on the left side of the roads. Indian vehicle are right hand drive vehicle and they runs on the left side of the road. If you see here, the center to outside road shows small slope, and same time to keep the vehicle at the center of the road, the slightly higher camber provided on the right wheel compared to the left side, means slightly higher camber is provided to the right side wheel compared to the left side wheel. So it keep the vehicle toward the center side. That is the reason it is made a different value for the right and left. Next point is the kingpin inclination or steering axis inclination, KPI or SAI. It is inclination of kingpin from vertical is called the kingpin inclination. Same axis here, imaginary line drawn here, and the other line coming through this kingpin. Okay, so the angle made by this is called the KPI. But in recent car, the kingpin is replaced by two ball joint. Here you can see two ball joints. Okay, instead of the kingpin, two ball joints are used, and when this line make the angle with this is called the steering axis inclination. It is fixed, not adjustable. It only change in case of the knuckle bend, forged knuckle bend. If this knuckle bend here attached to this, only in that case it will change. Otherwise, there is no adjustment for the KPI or SAI. KPI or SAI is the standard value of 7 to 8 degree. Standard value of KPI or SAI 7 to 8 degree angle value, and it keep the vehicle straight ahead position and provide the direction stability also. After completion of turn, weight of the vehicle presses and return the wheel on the straight track. In this topic, we are going to learn combined angle or included angle. Combined angle or included angle, second name, and scrub radius. So first, see the combined angle. The angle between the vertical wheel, the angle between the center line of the vertical wheel to the kingpin or SAI line, and it is equal to the camber plus the combined angle or included angle is equal to the camber plus KPI or SAI. So standard value for this is 9 to 10 degree, because camber is 2 degree plus KPI or SAI is 7 to 8 degree. So please note down this point. The standard value of combined angle is the equal to the camber plus KPI or SAI. So next point is the scrub radius. Friend, to understand this, I am going to draw here the circle. You can consider this tire here. Okay, this is the bottom is the ground level. Okay, so there is a distance. This is called the scrub radius, because scrub radius measure in the mm. So what is actually scrub radius and how it affects the vehicles, that we are going to learn. If scrub radius above the ground means inside the wheel, then it is called the negative scrub radius, or this condition is called the toe in condition. The first one is the toe in condition. Here the line of the center line of the wheel and center line of kingpin, when they meets at a point, okay, inside the tire, it's called the toe in condition, and it is called the negative scrub radius. If scrub radius is meeting at the exact point of the ground, means center line of the tire and center line of kingpin exactly meeting at the contacting point of the ground, is called the zero scrub radius. In that case, no toe in, toe out. Tractive resistance is equal to the tractive effort in this case. And next point is the condition where the scrub radius is the positive. If the center line of the wheels and center line of kingpin meets outside the wheel area or meets at the ground, below the ground, here in that case it's called the positive scrub radius, or this condition is called the toe out condition. Here clearly mentioned toe out condition for the C. So see here friend, intersection point of the center line of the wheel and kingpin line inclination to the distance of the ground point to the distance of the ground point. Here you can see this is called the scrub radius. In that case, this to this is called the scrub radius. Here this is called the scrub radius. This scrub radius you can see here like this, it's scrubbing. And in standard practice, by experience, the scrub radius point lies slightly below the ground because in variable running condition it keep the straight ahead position. If point goes up and down, it create toe and toe out. If we can make the scrub radius point here at the exact position, so in the running condition vehicle this tire will go up and down and this point will float above the ground and below the ground, and it creates the toe in and toe out condition which starts the vibration or wander in a vehicle. So scrub radius should be, in practically speaking, maintained just below, slightly below the ground level for the proper tracking of the vehicle. So scrub radius, and second point about the scrub radius, it is not adjustable. You already learned, because kingpin inclination is not adjustable. So the standard, some companies provide the standard or limitation for the scrub radius is up to here, up to 12 mm is accepted by some companies. Here we are going to learn the point caster angle and their effect. When you see the vehicle from side, you can clearly understand the caster angle. This is the kingpin inclination. Okay, this is the best example, bicycle. Okay, this is the kingpin inclination and this is the vertical line. This one is the vertical line. This is extended up to the ground, and here it's shown the caster angle. So the angle between the KPI and SAI, or you can say SAI, center line to the vertical plane of the wheel, is called the caster angle. If KPI line meets the ground at the point ahead of the vertical wheel center line, if this go point ahead of the vertical center line, then it is called the positive caster. It is called the positive caster angle. Okay, and if while it is behind the vertical plane center line, it is called the negative caster. If the line is like this, okay, KPI, and then you can say this is the negative caster. So this caster angle standard value for the good result, it is specified up to the 3 degree. Please note this point, 3 degree. And positive caster on front wheel provide the directional stability. The effect of the caster, it provide the directional stability, and negative caster on the vehicle tend to back at the time of turning. The wheel follows the KPI of the positive caster. Steering effort is more in that case, but provide good stability to the vehicle. And in case of the negative caster, steering would be the unstable. Apart from this, one another most important point about this caster, as a change in a caster angle affect the angle of other steering geometry, like the toe in toe out camber. So in that case, it is very important to first fix the caster angle. In case for the, I am talking about the wheel alignment. In this topic, we are going to learn the point understeer steering and oversteer steering. Understeer steering or oversteer steering point related to the sensitivity of the steering, and it depends on the slip angle of the front or rear wheel. Slip angle, what is meant by slip angle? Here you consider this is the wheel and this is the center line. When it take turns, the angle made by in between these two lines is called the slip angle. Same for the opposite side, both slip angle of the front tire is the same, but it differ from the rear side wheel. So here understeer condition, in this case also you can see the pictorial diagram, the vehicle is going outside the road, and in this case the oversteer condition, vehicle is turning inside towards the road, right side, and here it is going left side, far away from the road. So understeer radius of the turn increases in the case of the understeer, and extra rotation of the steering wheel will needed, and in this case the steering is little more as compared to the standard theoretical value in case of the understeer steering. When slip angle of the front wheel is more or greater than the rear wheel, vehicle will turn less sharply, it go away, and same opposite case for the oversteer condition, radius of turn decreases here, and vehicle will move more sharply at a given rotation of wheel speed, and in that case the driver need to steer little less than theoretical value for oversteer condition. Slip angle of the front wheel is less than the rear wheel, in that case the oversteer condition happen. Both the condition are not suitable for the vehicle, so vehicle should be maintained without gap of the steering while at the time of running.